Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching. We are at Interop 2010 in Las Vegas, and on our program today is Jay Hallberg, who is the VP of Marketing and the co-founder of Spiceworks. Jay, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here today.
Thanks for being here. You have a 4.5-year-old company. Tell me a little bit about what your company does.
Yeah, so Spiceworks gives away completely free network management software designed for IT professionals, typically in companies with fewer than 1,000 devices or employees. And beyond just network inventory, network monitoring, and network map and so forth, we also have an integrated help desk, which really helps tie the whole inventory management and workflow together. And then what probably takes it all over the top is first of all, it's, as I said, totally free, but there's also a very active IT community. And so people can ask each other questions, and that's why some of our users have started to call Spiceworks the Facebook for IT.
Oh, that's really interesting. So how does that help the IT manager?
Yeah, so if you think of our typical user, they're either totally alone as the IT professional, let's say in an accounting firm, or maybe it's a team of 2, 3, 4, or 5 people. It's not like Citibank where you've got all the specialists and IT can hang out together. So they're stretched incredibly thin, so I might be an expert in databases, but I don't know that much about Exchange or networking, but I'm still responsible for it. So I can go into the community, ask the question to somebody like me, and get an answer, typically from somebody who's faced that exact same problem before. And so it literally has led them to what they call the Google Challenge, where they challenge each other, try to find your answer faster using Google and search, or just ask in the Spiceworks community.
That's great. So that sounds like a real benefit to IT managers in I would think all companies, not just the small ones, right?
True, and so we certainly, this is kind of a little known fact, we're used on some larger networks, about almost 5,000 networks with more than 1,000 devices. That said, the vast majority of our deployments, again, it's nearly 1 million people now, 1 million IT professionals use Spiceworks, and about 96% of those are on networks and companies with fewer than 1,000 employees and devices.
Okay, so the obvious question that people have is, well, why am I going to start working with a company that's giving everything away for free? How on earth are you going to make money, and who pays your salary?
That's right, and so this is the way I answer that is when we started Spiceworks, the basic idea was if it works for Google and Google search, why couldn't it work for an IT application? And so that literally is the Spiceworks model. Is there's over 200 technology companies, advertisers from Microsoft, Cisco, Dell, Intel, down to Rackspace, and then many smaller companies who run ads in the Spiceworks interface. And that's how we keep it free. Exactly the same model that works for Google and Facebook, we've made work for a business application.
And are there any particular advertisers that do better or worse on your, or is it just they all do well?
They all do well because, keep in mind, they're trying to reach these SMB IT professionals, which it's a very valuable market. SMB is worth as much as enterprise IT.
Sure.
Technology companies tend to focus on the enterprise side because that's who they can find, where they can find the dollars. And so SMB is worth as much. It's just hard to reach that audience. And so whether you're trying to build a brand or sell a product or do some very specific marketing tactics, they can execute it very well within the Spiceworks application.
So how much, this is an interesting, obviously TMC is a media company, so we understand the media side. And I spend most of my time talking to companies like yours that develop technology. How much of your time is focusing on the media and developing better media solutions, and how much of your time is focused as a company on developing better technology solutions to help the management of the resources of an organization?
And I'd say broadly probably 80 to 90% is focused on the IT side, candidly. And that's how we started, was let's solve a problem for the IT professional. We're former employees of companies like Tivoli, Motive, Next, Apple. So we come from this a lineage of systems management and focusing on the end user, and we know without the community and a great application we have nothing. So we always focus there, and in fact that's where we're hiring most of our developers are on that front. We have a sales team that works with the advertisers, and so we do get direct feedback from them, but we found that the problems to solve there are much smaller than the problems to solve on the IT side. So that's where we put the vast majority of our efforts.
If you keep growing and growing your audience, you just become a more valuable place.
Right, it's kind of like Google. How much effort do they put on the algorithm and search and everything that faces end users versus the ad network? They built that out after they got going on the search side.
That's great. That's great. So what's next? What can we expect now? If this model works for what you're doing now, the obvious question is, why can't you go out, get venture funding, and apply it to 5 or 6 other spaces?
Yeah, and so we think there's so much to do still within IT. So we get asked about, sort of what other verticals next, and we stick to IT for the immediate future. Because part of that is, essentially to now, Spiceworks has been focused on the four walls within the company and managing everything that's on premise. We just yesterday announced a partnership with Rackspace, where we're starting to integrate cloud-based services such as Rackspace email into the Spiceworks interface. And that's just the beginning of many off-premise services that you'll be able to manage via the Spiceworks interface. So we see ourselves solving a whole hybrid on-premise and cloud management problem. Secondly, we're letting users actually buy a lot of products and services through the interface. So that's a whole other revenue stream for us.
E-commerce.
And then and we see Spiceworks becoming more and more a platform for everything IT. So we actually have users and other companies starting to build application extensions on top of our platform. And so I think over time, you might see us get into other areas based on how people extend it. Once you let the APIs and the platform loose, look out.
Well, congratulations. I mean, this is obviously, it's not, I'm not going to say that it's a new model per se, but it really is. You've started a company where you gave away software and now you're successfully monetizing it via ads. So
that's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And keep up the good work.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.